Hello and welcome everyone to Blood on the Bayou Series Circuit 3. We are here in the finals. We have a Warrior finals here. Kassai versus Fang. Joseph on Kassai. Buddy on Fang. I'm super excited to see how this matchup goes. I am joined tonight by Charles. How are you doing, Charles?
I am doing fantastic, and a Warrior final is the perfect way to end this day. We were seeing slowly the meta open up, the heavy hitters kind of creeping their way back out, and Kassai coming through, kind of I would say more of a dark horse hero compared to Fang, and Fang just really showing his stuff throughout the day and up through this top 8.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that say that heavy hitters was the best meta, their favorite meta, as it was, if you remember back, we had our quote-unquote aggro deck in KO, and a little bit of a slower matchup, a little bit of a slower time, and things have changed a little bit. We do have two warriors here, but one of them is a red line aggro deck in Fang, and I'm very interested to see how these two value-esque decks, as much as, I don't know, I still consider Fang a value deck. By just being able to bury you in value with the free swords, can measure up against a value-based deck like Kassai.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting. Of course, Buddy wants to get all of the fealties, make his daggers free, and have a lot of flexibility that way. On the other hand, Joseph wants to create the gold through his other cards, his hero ability. He wants to draw cards to make his swords free. And both heroes having that critical piece, the Valiant Dynamo, that is just going to make each player get insane value through equipment.
So I'm interested to see, I wonder, is this the list? And I probably should know this as we are in the finals, but is this the Kassai list that we're on, like, 9 draw swords?
I think Joseph is on at least the reds and blues. I don't think he's on the yellows.
Alright, so we will...
But I could be wrong about that. Of course, the lists are public should you want to go and look at them.
Very good. And of course here, Buddy, with the Kabuto here, able to be really big in the mirror match, as warriors, we're just swinging our weapons. So we'll see how that works out. And we're going to see what equipment we flip over. Almost identical with the exception of the headpiece.
Yeah, the Crown of Dominion coming through for Joseph here. Starting the game with the extra gold. It is something that gives him a little edge going into some of his turns. Of course, not only are you drawing a card, but you're making the swords free on the turn. So maybe if you have a resource heavy hand or just not enough reactions, it'll let you bail out of that one.
So Joseph,
but we are seeing the hit and run play into the Centauri Saber. And just going to be to go again. Of course, the passive ability on Saber itself, getting +1 if defended by an attack action, might not be as relevant as Buddy's deck is, I would say, 90% non-attacks.
So we're going to start here with blocking with a Saber Bloodshed, which is pretty interesting, as I see this card as generally a power card, but Buddy here not putting a ton of value into it. I guess not having Joseph marked here, it is not super great right now.
Yeah, and I think that Buddy wants to prioritize making fealties over maybe the potential draw card off of the Saber Bloodshed, and that is why he's not considering it as a card he wants to keep in his hand. As we see the Scar Tissue being blocked with here, something that can mark.
And then Joseph going to pay Integrains and get the Vigor token going into next turn. And Buddy going to pledge fealty and get one of his fealty. In the last round, he also had this like very early on, just getting the free fealty.
Yeah, let's see what the draw up for Buddy will be. Keeping one card left in hand. I think we see a For the Drakai, a Blistering Blade. Another card, pitching the Glint the Quicksilver here.
Move to reactions here. Needing to play a Draconic card to keep the fealty around, also pumping the dagger and giving it +1. So now the dagger going up to the 4 with a Blistering Blade. And also going to pay into the grains and still having the 1 left over to swing the dagger.
Yeah, still just the 1 fealty. So far, we haven't seen of any other ways to mark on this turn. Buddy really needs to get as many of those as fast as possible.
Going to glint and draw.
There is a For the Drakai in the hand for Buddy. He does have the go again, so just swinging another 0 for 4. Unfortunately, because he paid into grains, he could not have played the Command and Conquer he just drew.
Just going to be the 0 for 4. And like you said, the Command and Conquer are going to get put into the arsenal.
It looks like Joseph is really prioritizing blocking because Unsheath and Spoils of War, being 2 of the blocking cards in this turn, has got to tell you that his hand might be resource light.
But is going to have 1 resource starting out.
Yeah, and he does have a draw source in hand.
Another Spoils. And a Slice and Dice.
Ooh, and this is the yellow draw source here.
So the first, so this sword going to come in 4/5, and would definitely Buddy wanting to block here as the Spoils is out. And Spoils, obviously, on hit, going to be making some copper tokens. And copper being a really big resource that Kassai is wanting for the blood on her hands, a big power card. Able to swing the swords and pump them a lot by using the copper to pay for it. So this is one of those things that Buddy has to respecting the Spoils, not letting the copper get generated. But it is 5. And Buddy not wanting to lose too many cards because he does need to play at least 1 Draconic card to keep the fealty around.
Yeah, and not having an arsenal on the side of Joseph means that the Command and Conquer is pretty much stuck. Of course, only with 1 fealty you could say that, oh, maybe I don't play a Draconic card and I just lose 1 fealty. It's not that bad. But if you're losing your 1 fealty to play something like that Command and Conquer, that gets no value except for vanilla damage, then you are really hurting going into the next couple turns. So Buddy's lining up the block here.
The easy block
5
with
damage.
the easy block here with the dynamos. Just going to block 1 and take 4. The copper going to get generated.
2 copper here as that Centauri Saber will be coming in.
And this next one coming in for 4.
Yep, so was the yellow Slice and Dice played at the start of this turn.
Yeah, blocking 4. Moving on to Buddy's turn, 33 playing 36. And with the Vigor token, able to swing one of the swords, quote-unquote, for free, at least, so not having to pitch for it.
Yeah, Buddy's still keeping plenty of cards in hand. Of course, that 1 Vigor going to help him swing the Obsidian Fire Vein the first time. Can't quite get the context of his hand to see what could be left, because it did look like he wanted to keep it. I think I see another Blistering Blade. looks like a relentless pursuit. So a lot of options here.
So moving 2 reactions here with the Dynamo in front. And going to pump the blade up to 4 and pay into the grains with 2 floating. And another dagger going to come in. So like you said,
so Buddy...
the CNC going to sit in Arsenal, not wanting to play it out for just the vanilla 6.
Buddy is pushing damage on this turn, but that is all it is. Still no marking. Thankfully, this Endear Devotion will give him a fealty. Only up to 2 fealties, though. Still has 1 more to make before Buddy and Fang really unlock for this turn.
Looks like he did pick up another Endear Devotion. I think I saw that on the draw up. Joseph going to pitch to get the gold. Now the swords are going to be free, as he did draw one this turn.
Yeah, Buddy having to read Kassai just to make sure that he knows what he has to deal with for the turn.
So Joseph doing his best Fang impression and going to send out the sword for free. Or is Fang doing the Kassai impression? Which one came first?
I guess you could say either or. Kassai being the first of the two, you could say that Fang is doing a good Kassai impression in that aspect.
Going to give it a go again with the...
Yep, Blade Runner and Blade Flurry coming out here.
So 4 going to be sent across, so going down to 29. Life total staying pretty even. And going to pay 1 into the Vigor token here, and then swing the next sword for 5 with 1 floating and no cards in hand. Could he have paid into the Brave Forge here?
I believe he could have. I guess he is trying to prioritize resources over damage right now.
Yeah,
seeing as Buddy still doesn't have his 3 fealties, and he will also have to pay into his cards. Maybe Joseph is thinking that he could play a little bit more mid-rangey with the Fang.
And he does, in fact, pay into grains, making the 2nd Vigor token. So his next turn, he will start with essentially 2 resources coming over. So could also, again, do swing swords basically for free on his next turn if he and able to use these 4 cards. I do see a Gorganian Tome, which is not going to block.
But the Gorganian Tome does exactly what he wants to do. It's going to replace itself, make his swords free, and let him stay aggressive. This
paying into grains here. And I think that we may see the Endear Devotion come out here to get his 3rd fealty token.
Yeah, the Searing Gaze played on that previous chain link, pushing the damage there.
And then ending the chain with another 0 for 4.
And I believe this is the Hunt to the Ends of Wraith. Yes.
There's a lot of cards with fire and capes and people kneeling. Classic Fang cards. But here we have...
Draconic cards.
But here we have Joseph moving in, and he is at a life deficit, 18 playing 24 here in the finals. Moving along pretty quickly here. Just kind of slapping each other down as quickly as we can. And the tome going to draw a card and 2 resources floating here. And free swords coming out from the Kassai. And draw swords going to be the next play, and draw swords also going to draw another card. So these swords are very free. And this is the warrior aura.
Sharpened senses.
There you go. And sharpened senses going to get played out here, so his weapons do get +1. And this first sword going to come in for 6. Would just go again from the sharpened senses. And the next sword also going to be free on the swing. I can imagine we definitely see some more bigger tokens get made here. But he's going to have a think whether or not he wants to meet Joseph down at 18.
So this is a very interesting Kabuto turn, as he is reaching for it. It's going to shut Joseph down on that other Centauri Saber. Looks like Joseph still wants to push damage regardless. It's going to be that Blade Flurry coming through. 8 damage is the play.
Paying into the Vigor, definitely stopping this Vigor train rolling. So I think the Kabuto play was really heads up. I really like that block there, as we knew that there was another free sword coming in with 2 in hand. It also pushes him onto an arsenal. And now I'm putting that CNC live that's in Buddy's arsenal. But it doesn't look like it's going to get played out here, as we start off with an Oath of Loyalty.
Yeah, that Kabuto really getting a lot of value on the turn, preventing not only the second swing, but reducing the value of the Blade Flurry as well. It's a very heads-up play, as Buddy still commands a life lead after that block.
Gonna block 3, taking 1, as we have 19 playing 17. See if our fiery warrior can get it done here against the sands of Kassai. Just no blocks declared. Moving to reactions here.
We're seeing a Searing Gaze being played, going to give it +2 and on hit mark.
So if we can make another fealty here, we may be able to send that CNC.
Yeah, and I think that's what Buddy wants to try to do. It looks like Joseph has no intention of blocking. Ooh, and we are seeing a very powerful card here with that Long Whiskered Loyalty.
All the modes are going to be active here, as we are on our 3rd chain link. So the dagger is going to get +1. We're going to get to swing him again. And the next time the dagger hits, we're going to get a mark. So he goes. And there is the CNC.
Yeah, Joseph had to commit a lot of life, as he did not want to block on this turn, only to be met with the CNC. 6 extra damage, threatening, I believe, the draw swords that was put in Arsenal.
So pretty big turn here coming out of Buddy. Pretty good. Really good turn coming out of here, Buddy. Just seeing how much the 3 fealty really unlocked this Fang deck.
Yeah, and being able to be so flexible too, being able to go multiple chain links wide, using the extra fealty to power up stuff like that Command and Conquer. Just really goes to show the flexibility of Fang, as we see Joseph playing that draw swords from the arsenal.
Just like you said, Joseph's going to take stock here and see if he can activate Kassai. Is able to activate Kassai, so the next attack that hits will generate a gold. Kassai still being marked here. Trot Along coming out.
Yeah, Trot Along gives a dagger the sword Go Again, pretty much. It's just another form of Go Again in these Kassai decks. Just kind of a generic staple in many decks after the release of Rosetta.
Yeah, I know that definitely made its way into a lot of Florian lists. So with the draw swords, we're going to be coming in for a sword 4/4 and Go Again. And our swords being free.
Yeah, 4 Go Again, I have to admit, is not a lot when you're comparing it to what Buddy is doing with his daggers. It just seems like Joseph can't get the attacks that he wants to get very often. Although this hit and run will allow that other Centauri Saber to come in for a decent amount as well.
So going to be presenting another 4, so a total of 8 here coming out. And on hit, going to be generating a gold. We'll see if Buddy is going to cash in the grains to cover it all up and shut down the Kassai activation.
Yeah, not only is he denying gold for Joseph, but he's also denying the grains in case Joseph has to block with his hand.
Here we go.
But yeah, another Oath of Loyalty, just a very strong 0 for 4. But he obviously will have a Draconic card in that hand to pump up that first Fire Vein and go 3 wide on this turn.
So Blood on Her Hands coming out, but still covering up all 4, preserving some life, and a dagger for 1.
Ooh, Tooth of the Dragon really sidestepping this 3 block, making that next Fire Vein come in for 4 damage.
Yeah, it's one of those really crazy things that warriors can do, where you say, okay, I'm gonna commit some blocks here, and then they say, well, okay, how about we just go to the next link and see if you can see how well you can do. It makes it a really tough block here. Joseph just going to take the 4 down to 5.
5 is a very precarious life total. Of course, we know that Hunt's End is a card that exists, and I don't believe we've seen a single copy from Buddy at this point in time. So 3 of those looming in the deck.
I think that Buddy did pick up a D-React here. Checking to see if he has any of the loyalty from Beyond the Grave. Activating. Joseph's going to start off the turn with activating Kassai. And an unsheathed pitching Blood on Her Hands, and going to start out by sending in a sword here for 5.
Yeah, 5 Go Again is the play. Still just, not as impressive, although I think Buddy is caught on both a Sink Below and a Loyalty Beyond the Grave. So not much in the way of offense, as we see that Loyalty Beyond the Grave being pitched to the bottom to draw a new card here.
Gonna go ahead and use the armor, get the value out of it that he can, and get the 2 block to cover up the second sword. Keeping his life total healthy as well as cards in hand. See what Buddy can string along here, and if he can push through the last 5 damage into Kassai. Starting off with the Saver Bloodshed, but Joseph not being marked, so it still is a front pump, so still respectable.
We will take as many 0 for 4s in the deck, as I believe there's a Blaze Headlong in the hand for Buddy as well.
Needing at least 1 react, blocking 6.
Oh, the Pledge Fealty sidestepping it once again. The instants in Buddy's deck that are just able to provide the Go Again to the Fire Veins when the opponent overblocks is just so incredible.
So blocking 4 and then able to still just swing, or blocks 4, covering it up, and then another dagger for 1. So still poking in and stripping most of the hand. As Joseph now has, is it one card? One card in hand?
Believe it was just the one card, and it looks like he's opting to arsenal it, trying to find a larger turn, but I don't think Buddy is going to let him get any breathing room from now on while he's at 4.
See if Joseph can pick up. I think I may have seen maybe a sink below. Maybe not. It's another Saber Bloodshed going to start off this turn. Like you said, 0 for 4, which is, I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think I saw a For the Drakai and a Tooth of the Dragon and hand for Buddy as well. So we'll definitely have the ability to go wide. And that is the Firm Loyalty.
So Firm Loyalty going to pump this. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blocking 6, taking the 2, and then another sword coming in.
Yeah, should Schelling block 6, it's going to be the Tooth of the Dragon into the For the Drakai for 7, and that is going to be the end of the game. Buddy taking it on Fang.
Buddy taking down the Blood on the Bayou circuit number 3 here. Like you said, with Fang, that is pretty good stuff. I'm pretty excited to see that. Pretty happy for him. That was one heck of a run for him. Seeing some crazy stuff. And Joseph, very good game. Played as well as he could. But Fang just putting out too much value.
Yeah, and that was quite the sketchy first couple turns for Buddy trying to get those fealties, but as soon as he got them, he was just able to race ahead and outvalue the Kassai.
Very good. So congratulations to Buddy, and that is all of our Blood on the Bayou Circuit series that we are going to be doing. We hope to see you all for World Tour Houston coming up here on June 28th. I hope you all can join us. Until then, we'll see you later.